Apologies, the video cut off. So what you're going to do today is you're going to choose a Greek mythological character to describe using expanded noun phrases. So in your worksheet on Google Docs, you'll have an image like this. I'd like you to either choose one of the pictures here or choose another Greek mythological creature to describe. Right, for my example, I've chosen Medusa, who's a Gorgon. So Medusa's her name and Gorgon is the type of creature that she is. So the first thing you'll need to do is list some nouns that you can expand on, all right, relating to your character. So I've listed snake, mouth, eyes. There might be a few more there that you'd like to include. Then what I'd like you to do is to expand on these nouns and turn them into noun phrases. So thinking about what are some relative clauses you could use, what are some determiners, what are some prepositional phrases, and of course, what are some powerful adjectives or adverbs that you could include to describe those nouns. All right, so here's a few that I thought of. Her coal black, soulless eyes, which seemed to sink endlessly into her skull, glinted with malicious intent. So let's break apart that first example. I've got her as my determiner, coal, black, soulless as my adjectives, and eyes is the noun I'm describing, all right, which seemed to sink endlessly into her skull. That would be my prepositional phrase. It's telling me where it's happening, where it is. Glinting with malicious intent. All right, that's a bit more added information in my sentence. So really using as many opportunities as for description in your sentences as you can. Keep expanding it. See if you can add more detail as you go. You can embed some clauses about something that's in there that you can add more information to. Or in another example I wrote, the slick, slimy snakes twisted, hissed, and spat as they slithered menacingly around her face in a continuous, sickening, swelling motion. Her mouth was like a sharp, jagged wound. All right, so as well as that, you don't just have to stick to adjectives. If you've got other descriptive devices you can think of, like similes and metaphors, fantastic, include those. All right, once you've written a few noun phrases, then what you're going to do is write a descriptive paragraph using those noun phrases. Now, you don't just have to stick to those noun phrases, you'll have to include other information as well, or maybe as you're writing, another great idea will come to you that you might prefer. You can use that instead. I had the same experience when I was writing. I didn't use all these sentences, but I did use them for inspiration. So it's really important that you do this part first because it'll help improve your writing as you get to it, give you those ideas so you don't have to be thinking of them on the spot as you're writing. All right, so here's my go writing a descriptive paragraph. I'll read it for you. Medusa sat hunched in the darkest corner of the cave, muttering softly to herself as she carelessly rummaged through a pile of grimy bones that lay scattered at her bare, dirty feet. She laughed suddenly, a cold-piercing cry that seemed to freeze the air around her, and held up a small, sharper bone, her prize. From her pocket she pulled a small brown mouse. It squeaked in terror, perhaps already aware of its pitiful fate. Had one been able to get a closer look at the mouse, they would have noted its eyes were strangely pale, a sign that it was blind. The slick, slimy snakes that crowned Medusa's head began to hiss and spit with excitement as Medusa raised her arm, the sharp bone clutched tightly in her pale, wrinkly claw. With a swift, swinging motion, she brought the bone down, ripping the mouse apart. Blood splashed across the grey wall, the rich red is searing contrast to their empty, helpless grey. All right, so when I was writing, there were a few things that came to mind as I was going, and I got into the flow of it. And so I didn't stick to the noun phrases that I used. I would encourage you, if those ideas come, go with them. All right. One note, the reason why I made the mouse blind was because Medusa, with her eyes, anything that looks into her eyes turns to stone. So I thought I better do that. Right, so off you go, have a go. Good luck. You're so welcome to use any words or sentences from my example if they're going to inspire you. Of course, come up with your own work, but it's okay to get inspiration from other things. This might be something that you draw a story that you've read that you draw inspiration from. That's fantastic. If you're going to do the creature that Mrs. Dodds is, you could go back to Percy Jackson, have a look at the description that you use there, and use that for inspiration. That's up to you. So.